They are ruthless finishers. They are literal action-oriented doers. The operator in the room is always the one about 5 minutes into the meeting tapping furiously with their heel underneath the table or their toes, and then about 10 minutes in, they're typing away on with their thumbs on the phone's keyboard, texting someone, "Get me out of here."
All right, so let's talk about the leadership style. So we've got 4: visionary, operator, synergist, and processor.
Yep.
Tell us how you came up with that and how you think the 4 connect together.
So who are visionaries? Visionaries are starters, right? They are the idea people. You can tell a visionary, because they'll walk into a room and they may have never been anywhere near the problem or opportunity that you've talked about. They may not have ever even worked in the industry, but as soon as you say, "Hey, this is what it is," they will have 5 ideas on how they can make it better, right? They're magnets for opportunity. They are constantly assessing the world for what could be and what should be. They tend to be very entrepreneurial, even if they work in large organizations. They tend to be starters. They tend to not only accept risk relatively well, but oftentimes seek it. They need risk to do their best work. I remember when I was a kid, I played soccer or football for the rest of the world. And I found this pattern about myself that I never actually could shake, but I always played best against the best opponents. And my worst games were always against, the lesser teams in our league. And that's what visionaries are often like. If you put them in a big challenge, they tend to rise to the occasion. Where they struggle is where they get bored. And so what ends up happening with visionaries is that they have a very high squirrel factor. And what I love to encourage visionaries to do in a team environment is to focus on the question why. Right? You mentioned Simon Sinek before, start with why, but visionaries are starters. And in doing so, and in looking at the way that the world could be a better place, what they do best for a team is to say, "Hey, why is this so important?" Right? Why do we need to change when it's very comfortable to stay the same? Why should we try something new when we don't know if it's going to work or not? Why is it that we have to have this commitment of behaving the way that we do, versus just doing whatever feels good? And visionaries do that exceptionally well. Operators are finishers. These are folks who just love to get stuff done. They will walk through walls to see the vision of that visionary come to pass. They are ruthless finishers. They are literal action-oriented doers. The operator in the room is always the one about 5 minutes into the meeting tapping furiously with their heel underneath the table or their toes, and then about 10 minutes in, they're typing away on their with their thumbs on their phone's keyboard, texting someone, "Get me out of here." They don't have time for meetings. They just want to be out doing the thing. They don't care about all the business BS. They just want to get stuff done. And one of the challenges of operators who pride themselves on what they can get done when they're stepping into their role as an operator leader is to start to focus on what can we get done.
Hey everyone, it's Mick Spiers from the Leadership Project, where we empower leaders with all of the knowledge and skills that they need to create amazing teams and amazing workspaces. If you're liking today's video, please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and the notification bell. Back to the show.
And that's a big shift for an operator leader. And it's oftentimes those A players on a team, the big solo contributor who are just knocking it out of the park. We think, hey, this person really knows what they're doing. Let's promote them to leadership. Many times that's an operator. And many times the last thing they want to do is slow down to bring everybody else with them. And so our operator leaders have to step into that role of being, again, more synergistic by looking at how can we as a team succeed? How can I use my strength to get the ball across the line, not just to constantly work myself, but to help move the whole team forward? And you do that by being there, by showing up, by being with the team. And that can be hard for operators to do, but man, is it powerful when they do. And the question that I love for operators they don't even have to think about it, right? They just constantly and intuitively drive toward it is what are we doing now? I understand that that's where we're going, but we're never going to get there if we don't take the next step. And so what our operators do is they bring us down to the ground level where the traction is made, and they get us going. And it's a wonderful thing, but it takes a lot for an operator to do that. And especially for visionaries and the other styles, we have to appreciate it's not natural for them to sit in meetings. It's not natural for them to work at our pace. It's not natural for them to talk about something that they'd rather just be doing. And when we can appreciate how big a cost that is, then we can even more so leverage their strength in helping us stay grounded and move forward. They see operators and processors as being cut from the same cloth. They're both task oriented. To visionaries and even to synergists, they seem to be the detail oriented people, right? Because they're more task oriented, because they're more linear. But processors and operators are two entirely different creatures. A processor will literally think in terms of system and process. They think in terms of algorithm, right? What is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4? If you ask a processor to get from A to Z, I can guarantee you they will touch B, C, D, E, F, G, right? The whole way through. Now, what happens if you ask an operator? They are going to look for how many letters they can possibly skip so they can get to Z as quickly as possible. And so you may call it cutting corners. You may call it being more effective, right? And depending on the environment, one of those is more effective than the other. And so that synergist style is actually one that we tend to learn. We recognize the shortcomings of our style. We recognize the value of the other styles, and we start looking at doing things like speaking the language of our audience. We look at becoming a more synergistic visionary, or becoming a more synergistic operator, or a more synergistic processor. And when we do, it's a beautiful thing. And same thing with that synergist style in the upper stages of the cycle. And when we get all 4 of those working together co-equally, standing in the tension between those styles, right? Some of the just discomfort that comes with that, trying to get the diversity of thought drilled all the way down to unity of action or plan or vision, right? It's in bringing them all together that we really achieve lasting success.
Hey everyone, it's Mick Spiers from the Leadership Project, where we empower leaders with the knowledge and skills that they need to create amazing teams and amazing workspaces. If you're enjoying our content, please do remember to hit like, subscribe, and that little notification bell so that you can be notified of all of our future videos. In the meantime, please do take care, look out for each other, and join us on this journey as we learn together and lead together.